Hey, South Central Wisconsin. We've got some amazing content coming your way that we know you're not going to want to miss, so stick around. All right. Thanks for joining us for another exciting episode of the Q&A with J&J, where we get your real estate questions and we try and take the time to break them down and just answer them in a straightforward and simple manner. With us, as always, is Mr. Justin May. Justin,
Hello.
how are you doing?
Good. How are you doing, Justin?
Doing quite well, quite well.
Great.
Always
Awesome.
excited for this. If there's anything that you and I love talking about, it's real estate, that's for sure.
That's all we talk about.
Pretty
Just
much.
kidding. Yeah.
So, first question that we have today comes to us from Rick in Monona. He's a gentleman who's interested in selling his property, and he'd been noticing some substantial differences between the assessed value and the appraised value of properties in the area. So his question is, what is the difference between an assessed value and an appraised value?
That's a question that I hear a lot. It's really common from both sides, whether I'm working with a buyer or a seller, how to price your home or, what to pay for a home based on those two different differences. And you know, it's pretty clear, I guess, once you understand the basics of it. Um, but there can be some big variations in those prices. And what it comes down to is, so the city has hired hands called assessors. And so the assessors actually, that their job is to go from home to home and to they don't actually go in the house, and a lot of times they don't walk around it or anything like that. They'll even just drive past it. But what they're doing is they're looking for what they think the home is worth, and they might drive by and see if there's been any big updates done to it. If there's you know uh, an addition, or a new garage, or new driveway, fences, that sort of thing. And the assessor's main job, uh, after they determine what they think the price of the home should be, uh, is to put a tax on it. So what are you going to be paying every year in taxes is determined by the assessor's opinion, and expert opinion, that is, of course, on the home. And they're also going to look at the community, to see if how the community is doing, if the neighbors, you know, around the block are, keeping up their homes. Like they look at the statistics that way. And does that kind of make sense? I mean, I feel like that's pretty squarely what an assessor and an assessment is of your home. Uh, so then coming in, the next point is about appraisals. And so the appraisal is actually a private party, a third party that's hired. You could certainly hire your own appraiser, but typically the bank or the lender, they kind of hire a neutral party to come look at the home as well. And so what the appraiser does is the appraiser will typically get a little bit more detailed. And instead of just kind of looking at it and, you know, checking a few boxes, they go a little bit deeper and they look closer at the market and what's happening around the home too. So, they'll look at the houses in the area and they don't just kind of look to see how they're doing. They actually go deeper and look at the market, what's happening in the market, and give you a really good idea of what a fair market value is for the home. And so that's where you see the differences. The assessors, will put the home. You see this a lot. The assessors will put the home, here, and then the appraisal or market value is a lot higher, and that's pretty standard, especially in a hot market like we're seeing around here these days. So I hope that answers our customers' questions there. Justin, do you have anything to add to that at all, or?
Yeah, that's really great. I think direct and to the point. Two separate things. Probably one of the more commonly confused things. It comes up in probably every two or three transactions. It seems like that we work on, and buyers and sellers just kind of a little bit of misconception out there about it. So assessed value, much more dealing with taxation and the value that the municipality is going to use to calculate that taxable value. Appraisal, much more up to date and looking at the most recent sales within usually about a 1 mile to 2 mile radius of the house itself. Also more in depth in taking into account the materials that were actually in the house. Are they superior to the most recent sold properties in that area? And I think kind of, a portion of that question too is why can there be that spread? So most people that I know anyhow aren't necessarily super keen to call in the city assessor if they've made improvements, or if the market is moving really fast and their house might be worth more than what it's assessed at. We don't necessarily contact that assessor to come in and say, hey, tax us more. So a lot of times when the market is moving faster, that's kind of that main reason for that discrepancy. So awesome, Justin. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, who wants to have your house assessed at more so you can pay higher taxes? I know I don't.
Appraisal, yes. Assessment, no.
That's right. Oh, that was awesome.